Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Dynasty Underdog. I'm your host Uriah Dawkins. With me tonight, Billy Beeman. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I feel like a little bit better than you. We've
Yeah,
switched roles. You're the you're the patient now. You're the ill one now. But oh man, I honestly I forgot how mentally and physically tough and how much of a toll it takes on you. Like the in-season grind of just starts, sits, lineups, waivers, just everything. You know what I mean? That goes into it all. And it's like you have all these teams and you're just trying to hit the mark every week. Just starting a lineup in every league is like you're like, oh shit, I accomplished something this week. But yeah, man, it's just crazy. And then already we're week 3 and we have like 4 or 5 backup quarterbacks going.
yeah,
I think
it's brutal.
yeah, it's crazy. I think Frank Bose posted in the chat. We have Tyrod Taylor, Carson Wentz, and Marcus Mariota. Those are at least the 3 to mention there. And then obviously we have, the Flacco's, Russell Wilson's, Aaron Rodgers, Stafford's, but it's
Browning.
just yeah, oh Browning. There you go. It's
Yeah,
just the amount of injuries already that are racking up. It's just kind of crazy, man. Early
we
season
just
woes.
got started. Like,
Yeah, it's just it's crazy, man. JJ McCarthy out, it doesn't stop, man. It
yeah,
does not stop. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about the biggest one, I feel like, right? Like out the gate,
yeah.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Yeah, Andrew Luck 2.0 apparently at this point. Sad what that
God.
organization. I don't know if it's a Joe Burrow problem or protection problem, but I mean, it's just, geez, Louise. But yeah, Joe Burrow, turf toe. People are trying to come up with a better name for it because it's pretty severe. Foot rot, death foot. I mean, we got to come up with something a little bit more uh, for the community than just
Foot
turf toe.
rot.
Turf toe sounds cute, and it's not. So
No, I mean turf toe. What's funny about turf toe is it's actually called that, but it's pretty much like almost torn ligament almost all the
yes,
time. It sounds like for him it's pretty much a torn ligament. If you're out for about 3 months, it's got to be as bad as it gets. For that's as long as I've seen somebody out for that injury. But yeah, I mean, I lucky it wasn't an Achilles. As soon as I
mm-hmm.
saw the play in slow motion, you see his foot just bend that at the toe there hard, man. And once you see that, it's either the Achilles or a turf toe thing. So fortunate it was turf toe and not Achilles. But yeah, 3 months, it sucks. I don't know, man. I'm just, if there's going to be a super big discount, which it seems like there is, just kind of seeing what people were talking about in the Discord and on the market, people thinking he's super injury prone, I'm usually going to lean into buying players like that are great. You know what I mean? Unless it's
Yes,
maybe an Achilles would have made me think twice about it. But turf toe, 3 months. If I can get a discount on Burrow, I'm probably going to seek that out. Yeah.
yeah. From what I've seen, and I think I only own him in like one league, but to get an offer that I did today for him, yeah, people are also, I think, aligned with that. Maybe it's obviously the people that are in our Discord or in our league, so maybe they align with our thoughts a little bit more. But
Of course.
definitely, someone's trying to buy low on Burrow, and I'm just not. I'm not willing to sell on it. As long as I have another starting quarterback behind there, I'm chilling on all that.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about his replacement. Oh, what do you got?
Sorry, YouTube comments. Tony here. He's prone to having a shit O line. That's
Yeah,
true. He is definitely injury prone when he has a shit O line. That's true. That a poverty franchise for sure. They do not take care of anything that they should, and they spend money on the wrong things usually. So, yeah, no shock that they can't protect him. But still, this is just one thing after another for him. But again, we lean into elite talent, and yeah, I think we'll be buying Burrow. But yeah, let's talk about Browning, man. What are you buying it all? If you are you buying it all? Let's just start there, I guess.
no, I'm not. I mean, I think I only had like one Burrow share, and I actually had another starting quarterback. I think I had Penix, so I take Burrow out, throw Penix in there, and I'll be just fine. So, if I was in a situation where
Same.
yeah, if I was in a situation where like Burrow was my only other quarterback, I might go and see what Browning costs. But other than that, I don't really care. If you picked up Browning off of waivers or whatever, enjoy him for the next 3 months. Hopefully, he scores you points. But I'm not giving up anything major for him.
Are you taking a fourth for him if somebody offers you a fourth?
If I have Browning and someone offers me
Yeah,
a fourth, I'm
yeah.
gonna make him pay a third. But yeah,
Yeah, I tried for something like that, and I
yeah,
got somebody sent me a fourth, and I was like, no, give me a fourth plus this, and they just rejected it. And I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I guess you'll come back maybe. You know, like I look, and they don't have anybody. They have one other quarterback in a super flex league, and yeah, so it could be trouble for them. So I'm gonna hold their feet to the fire and see if
I
I
would
can get a
too.
little bit more. Yeah, I think he's worth. And this is why, like, I have leagues where I have uh Gardner Minshew still. He's the Chiefs backup, you know, like there's like you just hold on to these guys and
Yeah.
inevitably shit like this happens. Carson Wentz is a great example, you know, like
I have
all
a
these
Mariota
different
share.
quarterbacks. Yeah, Mariota, he's picked up off waivers. Mac Jones is
Yeah.
another one. Mac Jones, I forgot about him. Like we already had an injury there. Yeah, it's worth holding these guys, and like I will take up half of my bench, like quarter of my bench at least, with backup quarterbacks. It doesn't seem fruitful until all of a sudden you can sell them for, you know, 2/4, a third, and now you have an extra third, you know, and you still
Yeah.
have some of these other backup quarterbacks on your bench, so it's kind of worth it.
Yeah. All right, cool. Next one, which is actually more, well, it's not more consequential. It sucks. Aaron Jones injury. He will be on IR. So what? That's a minimum of 4 weeks at
Yeah.
this point. Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. So Jordan Mason steps in, should see the quote unquote bell cow role. If this is a player you don't roster, is this somebody that you're looking to get? And what would you be willing to
Jordan
pay? Jordan
Mason.
Mason. Yeah.
No, I mean this is kind of the reason that you would have bought him before this injury, right? So that because
Yeah.
like now he has a lot more value. So I mean, I definitely be on the selling side, and I'm not like a true like Jordan Mason believer. He really is kind of one of those guys that's like he'll fill in and be really solid, to be honest, but not a guy who I'm like out there trying to spend seconds on to go get personally. Even if I'm a contender, I'm probably just seeking out higher value options and trying to buy low on like a Henderson, but spending up to do it. You know what I mean? Like a first plus for Henderson instead of going out and getting uh, a Jordan Mason feels just kind of better to me. But yeah, so I mean, I'd be selling personally.
Yeah, I'm with you there, especially if the Aaron Jones thing isn't like a season long injury. I think we'd have a little bit different discussion there based on like, especially a contending team where you might want to get to like a Jordan Mason who's slated to get a pretty major role while Aaron Jones is gone. But Aaron Jones isn't predicted to be gone for a whole lot of time. So I don't think
But
it's really worth to spend up for that.
the other thing is like this offense hasn't been great.
True.
And, you know, I mean, maybe Carson Wentz comes in and fixes things because, you know, it's a veteran and this is Sam Darnold all over again,
Could
per
be.
the community narrative.
Mhm.
That's not me saying that. But so like the offensive line hasn't been great. Just nothing has been great. Neither of those running backs were really doing much other than Aaron Jones catching that, you know, long touchdown in that, you know, was that week 2 game, I guess. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm just not super jazzed about that offense, you know, as I thought we would be at this point. And so Mason doesn't have like any more appeal to me. Yeah.
That tracks. All right. Trevion Henderson, lack of usage and production. Are you worried? Is he a buy? Is he sell? I will say had nothing to do with him, but that pass from Drake May to Ramondre on the right hand side of the robot, like that was pretty. That was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
If that was Trayvon Henderson, like we'd be hyping him up, but it wasn't. It went to Ramondre, so uh, that's beside the point. But I was just saying, like that was a hell of a play. Are
Mm-hmm.
you concerned? You're a Patriots fan, so what are your insights?
No, I'm personally not concerned. I mean, he's a rookie. We have a really good veteran back in Ramondre Stevenson. Like the guy's not a slouch at all. We've been saying that for sure. I thought he would be more involved for sure at this point. I think they did try a will route to Henderson, kind of the same thing. I think they might have missed it in that same game. So I just think it's in due time. You know what I mean? Like this offensive line is not that great. We thought it would be better in the run game. And so I think that, you know, he's having challenges there. Also, he is having challenges in the pass protection game. For as much as he was talked up as a pass protector, he I think let up like 2 sacks last week, and I think he had a holding call on him too.
Yeah,
So just a really rough week for the rookie. I mean, it's rookie woes. He'll definitely get better. I tried to go out there and buy. I don't think anybody's selling. Like, I think most people are kind of wise to it. I had somebody he's like, I still believe in him. Like that, those kind of comments back to some of my offers. And I sent like, not super low ball, but like just a first straight up, you know what I mean? Just to see if somebody was willing to kind of move off, because he's had a slow start, and that wasn't even hitting. So I think people are too wise to it, but I'd still go out there. I think I'd sent an offer in every single league I'm in. So I would definitely go out there and take a shot at it. He's just one of those players who I think has the upside you want to attack at one of these low moments.
I agree. Next one, about a couple of highly touted rookies that, we're kind of hoping to see. I know it's only week 2, but we got to do this. Like, before you knew it, it's going to be playoffs. It moves fast, right? But we have there in Chicago, Colson Loveland and then Luther Burden, 2 guys drafted very high. This is a team that drafted a quarterback number 1 overall the year before, and then had a lackluster season, and people want to shut Caleb Williams for things that have nothing to do with football, which is really not right. But he hadn't looked great last year. But what they did do this year is, in free agency, they attacked free agency faster than anybody else, pretty much securing like the top, at least 2 linemen that were available in free agency and then drafted. Like, they did all the right things to kind of build this thing around them. Then they went and they drafted Colson Loveland. They drafted Luther Burden. They had DJ Moore there, Roma Dunze from the year before. And you're just thinking, okay, this is an offense that could really pop. Not to mention the coach they brought in, Ben Johnson, like the guy who made Jared Goff good, although Jared Goff is probably still good without Ben Johnson. But there was a whole lot of like really there was a lot of signs that we'd be seeing a lot more from the whole group as a whole, but was really, really, really fallen short was the 2 rookies that they drafted this year, Colston Loveland and Luther Burden. Have you watched any tape on these guys? What are you seeing? Like, just be patient type of deal because the guy's in front of them?
I mean, there's not much tape on these guys, to be honest, unfortunately. Like, Luther Burden's ran 13 routes.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything. He's got 15% route participation and 3 targets on the year. Like, there's really not much there, and the offense hasn't looked really in rhythm but a few times, maybe like the first half of one game. And so
first 20 plays.
Yeah, like they need to figure, we heard a lot about this offensive line being fixed and obviously Ben Johnson and everything, and it just hasn't looked great outside of Roma Dunze. I don't think many of the pass catchers have really looked great. And I don't know if that's really the pass catcher's fault at this point. I don't think, Colson Loveland in the short spurts that he has been on the field has looked okay. He's caught a couple balls here and there. But I just don't think there's enough there of like a consistent offense where you can, and these guys aren't playing enough where you can be like, I don't see it. That said, we knew Luther Burden was going to be slow roll to get him in there. I thought it was going to be a little bit more, because like you're seeing Zacchaeus on the field, like, he has like a 50% route. He has like a 50% route participation. He's out there. Like, Luther Burden's not at all. So they're not splitting that role. Like, it's Zacchaeus right now. And maybe that changes. I have more faith Luther Burden will get it. I don't know. You'd feel like, and maybe it is the rookie thing for the tight end too. Maybe we shouldn't be too worried because they do have a vet there in Cole Kmet who they probably like quite a bit. So we probably shouldn't be worried about either of these guys, but you don't like seeing a tight end's route participation be as low as Colson Loveland's is right now. Typically not what you see, I feel like, out of a guy drafted where he was drafted in for the role he was drafted in.
But just too soon to panic?
Yeah, it's week 2.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks in. Like, we don't have enough data. So, again, Luther Burden, this was like, they told us this was kind of going to be the case. So, like, I don't think we should worry about that at all. I think everybody expected a little bit more from Loveland. And then when you're looking over at, like, Tyler Warren, there's just a big difference there,
Yes. All right. Next one. Scadaboo above Tracy already.
I think so, right? Like, it's both, I think, kind of a stylistic thing that, the Giants kind of want is a tough runner like that. He's also just proven himself a little bit. What's this quote here from Brian Daboll?
He says, quote, "I thought Skatebo ran hard. I've got a lot of confidence in Tyrone Tracy, and he did a good job on our kickoff returns."
That's ridiculous. That's I can't believe you said that.
That's saying something. I was gonna say that's saying something without saying something, but that's like actually saying something. I don't know. I think, because Tyrone Tracy did come in and did a very good job, and he was probably an underdog to do what he did last year in the first place. Uh, and I thought, maybe Skatebo is like a fringe like fan following just because like he runs like a crazy madman. But just I watched the game against Dallas, of course, and to me it was pretty much night and day between what Scapo brought to the team and what Tracy brought to the team. And with this quote from Dable, it just kind of makes me think, might be trying to get off your Tracy shares if you can. I don't know. What's your take?
I mean, yeah, I think that Cam is definitely kind of taking over, and I'm just kind of looking at the data here. I mean, they're just two totally different players, and I think as like a workhorse type back and a guy who they can just like run up the middle and kind of assert themselves, like he obviously is much more suited for that. Not like nobody's, I think, going to be super effective in this offense in general. Like nobody's like breaking crazy runs. He's having to run through like 15 defenders on
literally
every
through.
It's absolutely outrageous. I'm just looking here, but like, even his yards after contact per attempt really aren't that much better than what we're seeing from Tracy. I mean, the numbers are pretty similar, to be honest with you. But, we're seeing when they get up in the goal line, which maybe few and far between this year, like he's getting every single carry, which is really what matters. You know what I mean? And he is forcing missed tackles, which the other guys aren't really doing. So, yeah, it's no surprise. I think that this is kind of what they expected him to do. I honestly don't know how long he can hold up doing this. I didn't even think it would be really effective or successful. But yeah, I mean, he's kind of proven himself here. You see him on the sidelines too, kind of getting everybody like juiced up. He ran over to Russ and was like, just like, yeah, jacking him up, slapping him around. You're just like, geez, dude, this guy's a rookie and he's kind of pumping everybody else up. It's cool. So yeah, he's kind of bringing some culture to the team a little bit too. And this past week show they have some fight in them. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think it was Jane Slater had a quote from some GM or whatever. She said that the GM had said he has a screw loose in all the right ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of, you watch him and yeah, that tracks. It's not a surprise at all. I think I also heard, like I've said this before, I think some people, it probably comes off as a little bit of like an asshole too. Just because like he seems very intense. You know what I mean? And like he's doing this as a rookie to vets and stuff like that. And I could see him rubbing some people the wrong way. But that's just, I mean, sometimes that's the energy you need. And I do kind of think this is Scapo over Tracy. I can't believe I'm calling him Scapo at this point. But I also want to say that I think Jake was kind of telling us this. I don't think he was like a Cam Truth or anything like that, but he was trying to tell us like sell Tracy early because he, as good as, or as, nice of a performance as he put out last year, there's a lot of deficiencies in his game. And there's no surprise that they went after a guy like Cam in the draft, who was more of a traditional runner.
Fair. Okay. That's most of the news and highlights from the week. You have put together a quote unquote route participation trophies, which is clever. If you weren't a dad, I don't know if you would have came up with that or not. So congrats, bud. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely
really
credit that to Rory for sure. She gets all the credit nowadays. Yeah.
All right. So what do you got here?
Well, here's just leading into this, since we're talking tight ends. Tony in the YouTube comments, Warren didn't miss a lot of camp like Colston did. Colston will catch up. That's fair. Definitely could be some of that. The whole team looks like they missed some camp, so we'll see. I think everybody has some catching up to do there. But yeah, so this, the route participation trophies are just this, discussion about route participation around tight ends. I just thought it was interesting. You see a lot of discussions going around about Mark Andrews right now, who's putting together a really underwhelming early season performance for fantasy, especially. I'm sure the team likes what he's doing out there. And I wanted to go take a look at, both. I did take a look at the film for Mark Andrews specifically because he has been so underproductive. I wanted to just see what was going on there. But also I thought it would be a good time to take a look at like what the typical route participations are for some of these guys, because that's the stuff that's flying around right now. It's like, oh, are they out there like actually running routes and whatnot? Like, are these guys doing what they are, supposed to be doing, or what we're used to seeing them do, especially for a guy like Andrews. And so with Andrews, I'll just start there because I think it was also asked within the Discord, and I think it's also interesting just to discuss why the hell this is going on. But first, I'll just touch on the route participation. So right now is at 7.9 routes per drop back, 70.9% routes per drop back.
Yeah.
Yes, routes per drop back. And I wanted to note that, in his best season, which was like 2022, where he had, 1,000 yards, like crazy year, it was like 83.6%, which granted is 13% higher, which is much higher than it is now. But guys like Kittle, Kelsey in the same year, below 80%. So, you don't have to be above 80% necessarily, which it's a great thing if you are, because it means you're much more involved in the, in the game. You're much more involved in the passing game and, going to be productive for fantasy. But you don't have to be super productive as a tight end. You just need to be kind of in that, 70 to 80 range. You got to be, even high 60s, you could probably, mix in there. But that's where you want to be. Anything above that is just kind of luxury, in my opinion. So, from what I'm getting at is like, Mark Andrews is not running many less routes than he's used to. And if you look in the past, I look back to 2022 on that specifically because I wanted to see in his best year how often was he on the field. But last year when he had like 10 touchdowns, very similar. I think he was like 73% or something like that. The year before, where he was okay still, it was like 74 something, somewhere in the low 70s or whatever it is. So he's always hovered in like the high 60, low 70 range for his career, except for that one year. So I don't think him, and we're in week 2. So this could easily kind of average up a little bit, even more into the mid 70s or something, right? Which is basically where he lives. So I'm really not like, from the perspective of him being available out there for receptions like he is, as much as we're pretty much used to. And then I went and looked at the film, and I mean, there's 2 things we got to think about. Number one, in context, like the Ravens, I think, are like bottom 3 in the league in pass attempts right now. Okay. So there's not many to go around, number one. Number two, a lot of schemed up stuff for specifically Zay Flowers. Like, it's just all day long, schemed up. There's a couple of times where he missed Andrews wide open on a couple, leak outs and whatnot, just like little shallow crosses and stuff like that, in this last game specifically. So I hesitate to be like, yeah, man, this guy's just done. Like, he doesn't look as spry as he used to, for sure, but he's definitely still getting enough separation out there where I just think this is a product of kind of how the team plays in the low volume at this point, and also that they have other guys around now that are just good. You know what I mean? They didn't have these guys a couple years ago when we were used to Mark Andrews doing what he was doing.
That's true.
So, and again, this isn't like a Pat Mahomes offense. This is a Lamar Jackson offense. There are just a lot less opportunities to go around. So, again, just with Andrews, I don't know. I'm not excited for him. I'm not out here like advocating to go buy him. I'm not selling him for nothing. Like, I'm just kind of holding out some hope here because I really do think that at least the data and the film kind of lined up for me where it's like, yeah, he's still out there running routes and he's still kind of getting open. He's just not having the ball go his way right now.
Yeah, and it's interesting, just looking at, if you're going to look at, route participation or percentage of routes per drop back, if you're trying to use that as a cog to dismiss Mark Andrews, then everybody who loves Brock Bowers is sitting at, 0.8 less, and he's still producing. So, there's a lot going into that there. What else here is sticking out to you?
Yeah, I mean, just on the Brock Bowers comment, like I there's some other guys here we can point to. He did get injured, so I don't want to like, you know what I mean? He did play in the following game, but I imagine they probably just used him a lot less if I had to guess. So, I mean, that might be closer to like, 80 and maybe somewhere in between the two, but it's a good point, right? Like, it's not like Brock Bowers is up at 90% route participation. Okay. So like, it's a good point. Zach Ertz 75.3, Tucker Kraft 75.4, Tyler Warren 77.7, all guys who are getting the job done pretty damn good. You know what I mean? And they're in that 70 range. So I do think it's worth highlighting there. And then, we can circle back real quick on a young guy or third year guy, Tucker Kraft, who a lot of us like. Yeah, and I just noticed, his ADOT is up this year from basically it was 5 flat the first 2 seasons, and now it's up to 9.1. Again, we're 2 weeks in, so we'll see if this stays consistent, but he does seem like he's being used a little differently this year. It seems like they realized last year, wait, this guy can do some different things. Let's utilize him in some different ways. Now, he did have, a really big play this past week, which probably enhances that number. See if he can keep that up, or at least, maybe somewhere in like the 6-7 range would be a shift from 5, right? So we'll see where that settles in, but it's just worth noting. It seems like they're using him in a little bit more of an explosive way right now. So yeah, that just may be a good sign for the future. Also worth noting here, I know TJ Hawkinson was kind of talked in similar fashion as Mark Andrews, right? But
yeah.
To me, like I was looking at his, sorry, I'll let you jump in real quick after this, but I was looking at his route participation, 75.9. He's basically always in the low 70s. This is nothing new. So he's out there as much as he's ever been out there. I just think this is JJM woes.
I think there's a lot to do with the JJ McCarthy woes there as well. But also, I mean, I did see him actually running routes, and I don't know, man. You know when you have a dog and like you do your 2 hands like to get him all excited. He's out there doing that. I'm like, this doesn't look like a professional tight end out there. Like, what is he doing? Because like it's not affecting the D back at all, right? It's our linebacker.
I saw the clip
like standing still. Like, what
about.
are you doing? Like the defender's come on, guy.
I mean, they were playing zone, and he was like off center of the guy, and like, yeah, no, it looked bad for sure.
It was terrible.
It didn't look good.
As far as usage, though, you're absolutely right. Like that's just kind of, it's been fine. And I know like someone had mentioned like I think to Jake was like, oh, how are you liking your TJ Hawkinson share? And it's like he's doing fine. Like it is what it is. He'll have bigger games here and there, and it brings me back to like I bet if you went to Dynasty Underdog 2024 week 2-3 episode, I bet you we were having these exact same conversations about all the tight ends last year. Mark Andrews sucked. Isaiah Likely was tight end 1. Kelsey can't catch a ball. Kittle sucks. And then I think by the end of the year, we kind of seen. Am I not remembering correctly? Because I'm pretty sure that's exactly what was going on.
There's a lot of that for sure.
These are our studs still that we're talking about, and I think just you got to give it a little bit of time. But we can continue.
Yeah, we can continue. I do just want to say, like I said before, I am a little bit worried about this offense. Again, maybe a vet gets it right, but like it just doesn't look like it's humming at all. And so I think all of the weapons are impacted by it. So that I think it's a lot more about that than it is about any individual player, including TJ Hawkinson. So, yeah. Okay, next couple here. I'm kind of going to go up and then go down at the end here, but the next couple here I think worth mentioning. So one, Kyle Pitts,
yes.
Definitely something super interesting happening here. His best season prior to this year in terms of routes run per dropback, 73.2%. He has 85.9% the first 2 weeks. That's a pretty significant shift in my opinion, upward. ADOT currently 5.2, half of his typical ADOT. So they're not only is he on the field running more routes, he's running what appears to be shorter routes and
higher percentage,
yeah. Higher success rate passes. Like it just seems like stuff that they can get into his hands and he can get going. And so worth mentioning here, Tony in the comments, contract year for Pitts for sure.
Ooh,
so definitely has something to play for there. But the usage is just different. It just is. So they're deciding to do something different with him here. Not as many just downfield passes, maybe some more traditional like routes for a tight end. I don't know if he's really playing. Yeah, I don't know if he's playing the position necessarily. Yeah, more traditionally. I don't know how traditional, but you're just looking at those numbers and you're like, yeah, this is they're doing something different here. And so we'll see if it keeps up. Or, I'm sure maybe it had something to do with some of the injuries they have going on, but still let's monitor over the next couple of weeks because this could be the turnaround for Pitts. We know he's always had the pedigree and the talent. It's just something's always been missing. So we'll see. And a lot of it has been coaching and usage. So maybe he's getting what he needs here.
Yeah. I don't think Darnell Mooney comes back, I don't think that Kyle Pitts ADOT's going to increase.
Yeah, right. Like it's
Right?
like they're not taking. They're definitely not taking. Like, yeah, Darnell Mooney is not really impacting the stuff under 10 ADOT.
I
So
think you
yeah,
nailed
I
it. I
agree.
think that they found just a different role for Pitts that fits a little bit better for him. So
That's the hope here. That's
and
definitely the hope
contract.
here. Oh, and a contract year. That definitely
Yeah.
is a really fair shout. Okay, so a couple guys here. We don't have to spend too much time on them, but okay, Trey McBride, like
Dog.
92.4% routes run per dropback, the
Yeah.
highest by far so far this year. Yeah, like you said, dog, and the guys out there for every pass play. And we should love having Trey McBride on our teams. There's really not much more to say there. Dallas Goedert here, 84.8%. Was kind of surprised to see that. I just thought it's so funny because obviously this team doesn't throw the ball, but he has 7 targets and he has a 30% target share. Like, that's outrageous.
That is crazy.
That is outrageous. Like, I actually want to, like, while we're sitting here, I got to make sure I didn't like have like some odd filter on.
No,
But
I
like,
think you're
yeah,
right. But
I mean, it's just like he has more targets than most people on the team. So I mean, I don't think this is going to be something that is like you can't rely on anybody on this team. And then he's a tight end to add into the mix, so he'll have more bad games and he will have good games. But he's a better player than we give him credit for. It's just if there's more volume there, man, he would probably be really useful in fantasy. I don't see it. All right, Juwan Johnson, 82% routes run per dropback. Look, like that team doesn't look good by any means. Like Spencer Rattler doesn't look great. He does look like better than you'd think, a little bit more like confident than you'd think. And
yeah,
Juwan Johnson's his dude. And like the dude's getting targeted all year long. Like I'm going to sell him if I have him on any team that's not a contender. That's for sure. If I'm a contender, I might consider just like holding because he's a really good like flex play for you all year long,
absolutely.
especially in tight end premium. And like you're probably not going to get enough for him to sell him. But like if I can move him for any second round pick as a rebuilder or anything like that, 100% doing it. I would consider selling them for 2/3 honestly, because like after this year, like we've kind of seen it, and it's like he's obviously a good player, but I think he's being hyper targeted by a quarterback that doesn't really have much confidence in throwing the ball elsewhere, and I'm not sure that would keep up with a better quarterback and a better system in place. I don't know. What do you think about that? Or do you think I'm wrong on that?
I don't think you're wrong. I just think that we've seen John Johnson kind of be good in years past. Not just this year. This year, obviously, better. Year 6, I think. But yeah, different quarterback. I mean, we would need Jake on here. That's Jake's dude, right? So we need to hear what he has to say because he's holding the bags. I'm not holding the bags.
I might be wrong. I might be not giving Juwan Johnson enough credit here. I mean, he's
I
also
honestly
not
think
like
that
a young spry chicken, is he?
it's year 6, I think, which I think data shows that year 6 is one of the better years for tight ends. But
29 years old, yeah.
Yeah, but tight end. I just think that 2/3.
No, it's true.
I think that 2/3 is probably like that's probably the easy. Like if you just were like, hey, let's get out Juwan Johnson. I don't trust it in this. 2/3 will probably get done, but I think you could probably squeeze a second out of most people at this point. So
yeah, and I think honestly he's gonna produce most of the year.
yes,
Health permitting. Like he's gonna produce similarly. He's probably gonna get somewhere between 6 and 9 targets a game. Like legitimately.
yeah.
Like
it's not like he's benefiting from someone being out, right? You still have Shaheed there, you have Chris Olave there. Like he's just he's literally just part of the game plan.
Yeah, he is, and he's clearly got a chemistry with Rattler that I think others might not have had with him. So
sure.
it shows. Real quick here in the YouTube comments, always coming through. Tony, the Penix. God damn it, I'm so bad. The Penix Pitts offseason bromance was real, and then Gordo. Sometimes a Penix in the pits is what it takes. Family friendly, bro. Family friendly.
Talk to the wife about that.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. Okay, what are we doing here? What were we doing here? All right, participation trophy. Sorry. All right, we got 3 more I want to mention here. Mason Taylor, 80.4%, 3 fucking targets. Are you kidding me? 3 targets, Justin Fields. What are you doing?
Well, Justin Fields only played like what, a quarter? Is this week 2?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I can't blame it all on him, but I think a lot of it is to blame on him still. I don't know. It's 80.4% is super encouraging from a rookie.
Very.
And yeah, I mean, they're raving about Mason Taylor, kind of, just the person and everything like that. So I think this is one of those where he's probably not going to have a lot of success early on. I'm probably going to purchase me some Mason Taylor shares if people are going to be selling low throughout the season. This isn't something I even think you need to rush on, to be honest with you. I don't think it's getting right anytime soon over there. So I think the participation will stay up. I just don't think the numbers are going to really be there this year, just because of who's throwing the ball to them. So worth noting, though, that boy is running a ton of routes. Okay, Hunter Henry, 66.3%. I just thought he'd be a little bit more involved. Slightly concerning, but honestly, I look back a little bit. This is kind of where he's at. He's kind of upper 60s, low 70s is the highest he's ever really been at. So, yeah, I just thought he would be more involved in general early on this year. I thought that passing offense would be better, but not really seeing it. So just something worth mentioning. Last one here to mention, going back to the rookie well, and something we talked about a little bit before, but I don't think I mentioned the routes run per dropback. Colston Loveland, 45.8%. It's really low, like really, really low. Like you got to get higher than that. So let's look, let's circle back on this week 6, 7, see where he's at. Maybe he'll be up in, even if he's up in like the upper 50s, 60s, like that's where I think would be more comfortable. So hopefully it's just kind of like Tony was saying before, he missed some camp, needs to play some catch up. The offense just needs to get right. But yeah, nothing over there looks great. So I'm a little concerned on that one. So yeah, we'll see where that one goes. Week 2. Can't be too concerned.
Week 2. But yeah, pretty good roundup there. Yeah, the Mason Taylor one that's very interesting. So all right. Kyren Williams versus Corum. Blake Corum. Blake Corum was, honestly, one of those guys when I was doing like my rookie cutting down to bench size, I was like, Blake Corum, like he didn't do shit last year. Can I just go ahead and just drop him?
I remember those, yeah. I remember thinking that too, and I was like, no, I got to keep this guy.
Got to keep him just in case because, they got the rookie. But you got some numbers here for us.
Well, yeah, we did have a question. I think Frank Bros in Discord was just like, can we talk a little bit about can we talk a little bit about Kyren Corum? And so I also watched the film on both these guys from week 2. Corum, I think, only had like 5 actual carries, though he was in the game quite a bit more, just, pass protection and whatnot. And he was okay in pass protection, had some decent reps. But yeah, just let's run through a couple numbers here before we talk more about the film. Percent of team carries inside the 5, 0% for Kyren. Corum, 33.3%. Stuff rate, which is basically it's like under 3 or 4 yards on any given carry, I think outside of the red zone, essentially. And so Corum had nothing in that category. Kyren had 54.9% stuff rate. And then yards before contact per attempt. Kyren with 1.82, very low. Corum with 4.6. Okay, and I do think, watching the film there's a couple more numbers here I'll throw out in a second, but, watching the film, like that number feels so instructive to me because the yards before contact were really like easy to see on tape. It really felt like when Kyren was on the field, the box was loaded. They were kind of keyed in on a potential run, and he really didn't have much room. It felt like when I was watching Corum in there was a couple shotgun snaps that he had, a little bit more spread offense, a little bit more spread out defense. They weren't really as what looked like focused on the run game, and he just had a little bit more room to run. Like there was just nobody kind of there for the first 3 or 4 yards. So I'm not really surprised to see that the yards before contact were greater. It didn't feel like to me that it was like a vision thing, like he was seeing things better than Kyren necessarily, though. Jump over to the tape a little bit. I did think that there was some situations, and Kyren had a lot more. Again, Corum had 5 carries. Kyren had, I think, like 15 or something like that. Mm-hmm. So he had a lot more attempts to fail on, right? Correct. And there was a lot more. There were a few attempts where I definitely think he wasn't reading the field as well as he could have. I don't think that was the case on most of them. However, I will say Corum, like in the reps he did have, in the space he did have, he would show some really good short area change of direction, some really good burst in those moments, and he was bouncing off guys. Like he definitely had a palpable like force, like an energy, right, that he was running with. You could definitely see it and feel it. So I will say Corum was running really well. It just really felt like he had a much better situation to work with on any given carry. Also here, yards after contact per attempt for Kyren, 2.06, for Blake Corum, 4.2. So he doubled the yards after contact per attempt. However, the yards after contact percentage, Kyren 53% of his, 47% of Corum's. And so there's just many more attempts where Kyren was running into contact. Now we can debate whether that's Kyren's fault or not, right? Or whether it was a product of, blocking and defensive scheme. Like it just seemed to me like there was a lot less room for him to move on, and the numbers kind of show that. However, the numbers inside the 5, Corum getting the touches in the green zone, within the 5, like that's actually important. Like that, if that's going to be the case, that those were touches that Kyren was getting a lot, in the past. Yeah. So if Corum is getting those and he starts, eating more into those 15 touches and it becomes, 8 and 11 or something like that, maybe, and we'll see if Corum keeps up the efficiency. Again, it's week 2. Like I'm not ready to say that necessarily. And I honestly would need to see Corum in the more traditional, role. You know what I mean? Actually kind of running in between the 20s, where it just seemed like he was more actually inside the 10 and, used in almost a change of pace role is honestly what it seemed like. And so, I'm interested to see if his usage goes up after having some success this week and looking like he did, because he certainly looked like he had some juice.
Does this nuke, was it
Jarquez Hunter?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I honestly don't. I don't think so. Like there's always room for that next guy up. You know what I mean? All it takes is an injury. And yeah, this Jarquez is a rookie. Like I would not be surprised to, Corum didn't do a single thing year 1 at all. And they drafted Jarquez, high enough to, that investment matters to them. And so I'm not super worried about him. This is really more, I think, about Kyren versus Corum, and if they feel like Kyren's expendable at the end of this year. I know he got the contract, but contracts are fake in this league. So yes. I'm sure they could figure out some way, around that. And what does it matter at that point? If Kyren's better or, just eating into that role, that's going to matter for fantasy. So we just kind of need to keep our eye on that. We've always been on sell Kyren. We've been saying this since so that hasn't changed. I just don't think it's getting any easier right now. And if somebody, if you can still get off of him for, first plus-ish value, and it doesn't need to be much plus, then yeah, you should be doing that for sure.
Cool. Yeah. Also, before we do hop into these trades and non-trades, do you have any? Again, we've said it probably half a dozen or a dozen times on the show. It's week 2, but any big thoughts on the rookie running backs in general this year?
I'm not really. I think the most concern, we've had, it's just been so. Quinshon has really thrown a wrench in things, right? Where we couldn't even see what that looked like. We're going to start seeing that. He actually looked pretty good in the limited action this past week. I think Ashton Genty looks fantastic so far. Again, we talked about Henderson already. Who are the other rookie running backs that I'm missing?
So you got Trayvon Henderson.
The other one, the one that's probably the most concerning is
Caleb Johnson.
Oh yeah, Caleb Johnson is the most concerning. Who doesn't know the rules apparently.
Omari and Hampton.
That was one I was trying to pull out. I think those two are the most concerning. Obviously Caleb is the most concerning. There's no encouraging news whatsoever, no encouraging anything there whatsoever. So I certainly at this point it might be worth a buy. But is anybody actually going to sell him as low as you're worth buying him? It's kind of at that point where I don't know if those two crossroads are going to work out. And I'm just not encouraged by him. Omarion, what I try to do is I try to trade my Omarion Hampton share plus something for Travion Henderson. That's what I just tried to do recently. Didn't work out. I think I got rejected, but like that's how I feel about Amari and Hampton, I guess. And they both are kind of underperforming, but one of them I just feel like isn't really showing much negative, where the other one I think is showing some negative qualities that carry over from college that we're not surprised about. I think one is just blocked by another really good back there, right? It's not like Najee Harris is blocking Amari and Hampton from performing well. Like both of them have sucked, to be fair. So, I mean, obviously the run game there is not, I think, what they want it to be, but still Amari and Hampton, with the role and opportunity he has, should be performing better. And again, stuff we were already concerned about. So, yeah, I mean, he's the one who I'd want to get out of, and probably you still have time to get out of and into a similar asset, like I was just talking about.
Fair.
Honestly, like I wonder. I'd probably be comfortable getting out of him for Quinshon in some form or fashion. I'm not sure what the deal would look like, but getting out of Hampton for Quinshon plus like feels probably like a good move.
Cool. Thanks for that. And thanks for doing most of the talking in this episode. Really helped me out quite a bit.
No, you're good, man. I didn't even feel like I was, but sure. Like I'm good at that. I do talk too much. So, and look, you guys have been covering for me while I've been sick. So I gotta do the same.
All right. A little bit shorter episode, but we do have a couple trades here to get out of here. So,
well, just one. Let's do this one.
Okay, perfect. This is actually an interesting one. So we have Caleb Williams, the 26th first, Colston Loveland for Justin Herbert and Tyler Warren.
And the first is like mid to late, I'd say.
I don't even care. I don't think. I'm gonna take the Herbert and Warren side here probably all day.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a non-trade actually, but I felt like it was interesting enough to me to put on here, where I was like, I thought about it for about 5 seconds, and I was like, no, I don't think so. But like if there wasn't maybe a couple seconds, an extra first in there, then you start really thinking about like, okay, would I do this? Because that's now basically like 4 firsts for those two players. If you kind of break it down, but. We're talking a lot about Colston Loveland. We're talking a lot about Luther Burden, and like this trade, I feel like exemplifies how somebody truly feels about that situation. Because if you believe in Caleb, this like off-season Caleb in this deal, this is probably Caleb's smash. Sure. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like before we know anything, like this is probably Caleb's side smash. And so I think it's a good way to, it's like a litmus test for like how you feel about Caleb Williams. And I don't feel good about Caleb Williams is how I feel about it. Like where I'm just like, no, that's not nearly enough. I would need absolutely an extra first on this to feel good about it. And that's just because Herbert feels like such a stable asset at this point. Like there's, for a fact, he's not a bad quarterback, and there's nothing that anybody could tell you that he is going to change that.
Yes.
And
on the other side with Warren being paired,
it's
the same package as Herbert. It's like, again, it's only been 2 weeks, but like, I think I've seen enough, already. Like with this usage and just how well he's been out there, I just, just pretty easy Herbert Warren side here. I think those two players could be on your team, scoring you a lot of points for a lot of time. The Caleb Loveland in the first. That's still, to me, just like an empty box. You never know what's going to be in there type of deal still.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good read on it. And sorry, like AJ just threw me totally off in the chat here. And like, what the hell are you talking about? I know Jacob be rolling his eyes here. No Genty Baker trade talk. First of all, neither one of those players are getting traded if we're talking about who I think we're talking about, which is Ashton Genty or Baker Mayfield. Like, Tampa Bay loves him and he loves Tampa Bay. I don't think there's any getting him out of there anytime soon. And then Genty, like there's just no possible way that happens. I had to look it up on the side here. I was like looking up trade rumors. I'm like, this is a dynasty under. This is a dynasty show. This isn't like some
NFL rumors.
ESPN. I don't know.
Yeah, we have credentials.
Oh.
Maybe there's a trade in the league.
All right, let's see.
Jake usually pulls those up for us.
Yeah, no, I'll go to DU4. We'll talk this trade. This is actually a big trade. I think I remember. Okay. Okay, so we have Ashton Genty. We have George Pickens. So Ashton Genty and George Pickens for Baker Mayfield, 27 first, 27 second, and a 28 second.
Say that again.
Yep, Ashton Genty and George Pickens.
Okay.
For Baker Mayfield, 27 first, 27 second, and 28 second. Okay. Yeah, I saw this one go down. I was actually kind of surprised. It's obviously a good return, I think, for a running back and a wide receiver. I was surprised that there wasn't like more picks or higher picks coming back to Jake in this one. This was actually Jake and AJ. But yeah, I mean, it's a good trade all around. Like, I can't really hate on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a buy low Genty, sell high Pickens, and get Baker at cost type deal.
Yeah, that's a good read on it too.
Yeah, I think it's a good trade. I think it's solid. Probably could have got more on the Baker side of things. It is super flex. No quarterback came back to the Genty side, which you would have liked to see. But
Baker and a first, that's basically like, it's basically 2 firsts and 2 seconds. Like, I think Baker's worth more than that personally, but that's just like, it's hard to get more than a first for Baker in my experience. So like, maybe you're saying that Baker's like a first and a second, and then you get another first and a second and a second. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good return for Genty. Yeah, that's a good return. I wonder what does Dale have, or what did Dale, his name in this league, or on Sleeper? Let me see what he has in terms of quarterback. To give up a quarterback without getting one back, I feel like you have to have like a pretty good. So he has Pat Mahomes, Michael Penix, and Mac Jones. So it's pretty thin, and that gives him Genty, Garrett. Yeah. Oh man, that's a tough one. I feel like if I were AJ, I would have probably kept my
Genty.
stuff.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he got Genty in this one. I would have probably kept Baker in the picks personally. Yeah. But I do like I kind of get what he's doing here. It definitely fills out his roster more and like to compete. But yeah, like I would have definitely been seeking some kind of quarterback coming back my way in that trade. I think it would have made me feel a little bit better. Definitely, I like Jake. I think what he probably was thinking here is like, this could potentially hurt his team if something happens to a quarterback. You know what I mean? And like, I'm getting also some picks and stuff here. Like there was it's like it all, because it could also enhance the picks at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's probably the thought process there, is like he made the team a little bit more fragile potentially, not immediately, but potentially. Plus he's getting those picks, which that could have a compounding effect. So, but again, like I think the value kind of makes sense to get Genty back. Yeah.
To keep Baker as my third quarterback there, but I think it's fair. So that's all that really matters.
It is a pretty fair trade, but I think it's a good move by Jake. If I had to be honest, at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna cut out everything I said there before. So I'm glad, this is only for the live audience. But yeah, okay, that's all I got.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
No. I'm excited for week 3. We do have Tommy joining us end of the month here, actually. Not next week, but the week after that, we will have Tommy joining us on the 30th. So it'll be a really fun show. But other than that, yeah, man, appreciate you guys. Hop in the Discord, check out the show description. There will be a link to the Discord in there if you want to, hear more from us or just chat it up. But yeah, other than that, appreciate everybody who joined live.
Have a good night, everybody.
Take it easy, guys. Peace out.